Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, and in this video we're going to be previewing the 2018 King George, which is the feature race on Boxing Day. We have now had the 6-day declaration stage made where 11 runners have been declared for the famous race on Boxing Day, and I think most of these will turn up. So we'll analyse all the 11 horses and their form claims and their chances as well to win the race. So we'll do that in a sec. Also as well, one of the reasons you're probably thinking, why am I making this video a little bit early? That's because when we would know the full list of runners would be on Christmas Day, and I'm sure like myself most of you will be stuffing turkey in your face, having a few drinks, and really won't be paying too much attention to the racing declarations the day before. So yeah, I decided to make this video now because I think most of these horses will turn up, and I'll give you my top 3 selections at the end of this video on who I think will make the frame. So without further ado, we'll go in market order and we'll analyse all 11 horses and their chances for the historical race and one of the spectacular races of the jump season. So without further ado, the current favourite is Might Bite. Now he's round about 3-1 with bookmakers, with most firms. They've got him in as favourite, trained by Nicky Henderson, who's a champion trainer, and that's probably the reason why he is favourite for this race, because he won it last year. But I just thought he wasn't that impressive in his King George win last year. I thought he did it very workmanlike. He only beat Double Shuffle and T for 2 by a couple of lengths, who are not bad horses, but they're never going to be tearing up any trees. We know their limitations, and they're just solid horses for this company, but they're nothing that special, really, if they're going to be winning these big races. But Might Bite, he wasn't that convincing for me in the King George last year. I thought his 2 best races, obviously, were in the Cheltenham Gold Cup when he had that epic battle with Native River, but the ground went against him that day, and him and Native River were clear of the rest of the field, and I thought that was his race, really, that even Connection said that was his race for the season to go and win, because he was favourite with most firms for a lot of that race. But I thought really his most impressive race, actually, and Nicky Henderson agrees with me, that's when he went and won the Betway Bowl at Aintree at the Grand National meeting, where he won it quite well, considering he probably had a really hard race in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and he did well to come out of that so soon and win quite nicely. Now you could argue that some of those horses, like himself, had had some hard races throughout the season and it was just class prevailed, but I still thought that took a lot of effort from Might Bite to win as well as he did. So I think last season Aintree was his best effort really on his performance, but I just don't think he's been the same horse since we saw him, where he probably would have hacked up in the RSA. If you remember, quite famously, he went off a True Line and then he just beat Whisper in the end. He was going to win by a country mile that day, but I don't think he's been the same horse since that season. Now I think if we go to his run, we'll touch upon this with a few of the others in the Betfair chase at Haydock. I don't think really Might Bite had too many excuses that day. He had the ground that he wanted to overturn the form of Native River. Some people have said that maybe the fences were too high that day. I think all the other horses had to jump over the same fences, and some of them managed to do it okay. I just think maybe you needed the run really, and also as well, I think Nicky Henderson's horses, some of them hadn't really been firing on all cylinders around that time, and some of them that were expected to come out for their first runs of the season maybe had needed the run with the likes of horses such as We Have a Dream, that was quite a well touted horse. Also as well, Terrafort, they came out and they didn't deliver. So maybe the yard then, they needed their horses needed the first run of the season, and with the likes of Altior and Bouvedere coming out in recent weeks, and also as well he's got lots of other horses in good form, Might Bite will be ready on the day I think, but I just think it's too hard to be backing him, and I think personally he should be more of a 5-1 price really, rather than 3-1 currently with most bookmakers. The next one, or the next 2 in the betting really, are both at 9-2 with a lot of firms, and the first one of those we'll touch on is Politolog. Now Politolog is very interesting, trained by Paul Nicholls, who hasn't had too many top level horses, but he looks like he's got one on his hands here. Politolog obviously was well known as a two-miler last season by going to win the Tingle Creek, and then he went to Aintree and he beat Min in really good style, won quite well, you could argue, beating a nice horse at Kim Bailey's called Charbel in the Christie Chase at Ascot on his seasonal return. Politlog has always been thought as a stayer, and Paul Nicholls is really confident on his chances. I think he could go well, and I think the best place to find out if he can get it will be at Kempton, because I think the track should play to his advantage. He won at the course before, so no qualms there. Sam Twiston-Davies could be the one that they go for with the jockey bookings. It has been said that he will, so good rider there. And I just think Politlog, he's got a chance, and I think he could definitely make the frame. Now, Waiting Patiently, now this one has kind of been the sexy horse, the one that we only ever see a couple of times a season, and is probably the one that's got the progressive profile, because obviously he's got to deliver on what his good races have been at Ascot when he beat Q-Card, and also as well in his earlier days where he won some good progressive races. But Ruth Jefferson has been confident on his chances, but the thing I would take into the equation is lack of a run, and horses that have won the King George over the years have at least had one run before they've come, so it would be an absolutely remarkable training performance if Waiting Patiently went on to win this race. Also as well, the connotations with, unfortunately, Malcolm Jefferson, his original trainer, passing away earlier this year. It would be a very emotional story. Now, Waiting Patiently, his ground should be okay. There should be some soft in it, so no worries there. Also as well, he has won at Kempton, but I just think the lack of the recent run might find him out, and especially as well going the 3 miles for the first time, we need to know if he can get that. So for me, I would probably not be with him on the day, even though I could see why a lot of people would be wanting to back him. Thistlecrack is then the next runner, obviously the 2016 King George winner, and then he kind of went off the boil a bit. You can forgive him his run against Many Clouds, who unfortunately had to lose his life to beat Thistlecrack, because obviously it was an emotional race, that one, in the Cotswolds Chase, when unfortunately Many Clouds did pass away because he had a heart attack straight after the race finished. Now, Thistlecrack, last season obviously he had his injury, which kept him out of a lot of the big races, and we only saw him in the Stayers Hurdle race they always have at Newbury, and also as well we saw him last year in the King George when he finished in 4th place. Now, we didn't see him after that because of his injuries. They kept him out of the Gold Cup, and he made a seasonal reappearance at Haydock in that Betfair Chase, where I thought he ran really well actually, and he was storming home at the end, and I think his engine was still there that day. That was definitely on show, but his jumping maybe lacked a little bit of fluency at sometimes, but I think you can forgive him that, because like the Tizzards have said, he's only ever had 6 runs over the chase obstacles, and he won the King George as a novice. Also as well, that was his first run for quite some time, and I think his jumping can come on for that, and I think if they can get him into a nice prominent position early on, his engine should definitely come into play, and I think he will go very close. And I thought 6-1, he wasn't a bad price there, even an each way price if you want to back him. I think he will definitely go close, and I think this has been his target all along, and they'll see where they go, how he does in the King George, whether he'll go for the Cheltenham Gold Cup, which has always been an aim since his King George win a couple of years ago, or maybe if he flops, maybe there's been some talk of him going for the Stayers Hurdle, which he previously won a few years ago. So it'd be interesting to see how he does go, but I think he'll go really well, and I think he'll come on for that run plenty. We then go to Bristol De Mai, who in my opinion should be the favourite for this race. I think he should be the 3-1 favourite. However, he's got the Kempton factor to prove. Also as well, he's got to prove again, maybe to some people, that he can go on better ground when it isn't a bog, and also as well, can he win away from Haydock? He did win obviously the Charlie Hall Chase last year, where obviously that was a Weatherby, but a lot of people thought he was just a Haydock specialist, and he was very impressive in his win in the Betfair Chase at Haydock. I think he will run a good race, and I think he's definitely come on leaps and bounds for that wind operation. Nigel Twiston-Davies is very confident on his chances. He's about 13-2 shot other bookmakers at the moment. I wouldn't put you off at all if you wanted to have a bet on him. I think he could go very close, and I think he'll definitely be there or thereabouts come the end. We then go to Native River, I should say he'll be the defending Cheltenham Gold Cup champion when the festival comes. I thought he ran a really good race at at Haydock to finish in second place. He probably needed the run as well. Colin Tizard just got 2 good chances in this race, and in the colours of Brocade Racing, they'll be wanting to get another big race win. He's won most of the top races. He won the Hennessy, remember, or what was the Hennessy, and also as well the Welsh Grand National, finished 3rd in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, won obviously the Cheltenham Gold Cup. So he's always delivered for them, for the owners, but I'm not quite sure about the track, and I think also as well he might just want a bit more rain. Even though he can go on good ground, I think his strengths are when the rain does come, and I just not sure about him. I think he'll be there or thereabouts, he'll be close, but I just think maybe something else could beat him, and I'll give you my selection on what that will be at the end of the video. Clan des Obo obviously went to Haydock, didn't obviously show that he is the same calibre of the others that we've already talked about. Paul Nicholls always thought he was a good horse. He's run in some decent races. He finished 2nd obviously behind Mike Bite in that Betway Bowl, but I just think he could be a little bit outclassed here. T for 2 again, obviously a Betway Bowl winner in 2017, and I actually remember tipping that one up. Now in the hands of Jane Williams, who's transferred from Nick Williams, who's her husband I believe, but T for 2 for me, 20 to 1. Not sure. Conagry, be interesting to see if he could come back to some form. Obviously ran a good race at Cheltenham a couple of months ago under the jockeyship of Sean Byrne, who gave him a fantastic ride to finish in 3rd place carrying top weight. We haven't really seen too much of him, too much of his old self, because he's had injuries. Probably before that his best run came in the Punchtown Gold Cup when he finished 3rd in that epic battle between Sizen John and Jackadam. If he was in that kind of mood, I think he could have a chance. 25 to 1, not a bad price. Shattered Love, not sure if this one will turn up. Gordon Elliott's keeping obviously the entry. Think this horse would want a little bit more rain. Also as well, he has mentioned though that this horse maybe could be entered in a Gold Cup. Not sure if it would be this year, but he definitely sweet on the horse. Obviously was an impressive Cheltenham Festival winner, and I just thought maybe Shattered Love probably would be outclassed if she did go to Kempton. Double Shuffle could be maybe an interesting horse. Obviously fell early on in the old Charlie Hall when he was quite well fancied, but obviously there wasn't many runners in that. Ran 2nd in this race last year, and I think, I'm not saying it was a fluke, by any means he's a decent yardstick, but you've got to fancy some of the other horses that we've already mentioned. So for me, I think if I have to pick my top 3 for the race, I think Thistlecrack will win the race. I think there was definitely signs of his old self. We know he likes the track, and I think if he can just improve his jumping, I think he's got the engine to beat most of these horses, and I think he'll come out on top. We then go for my second choice, and I'm actually going to say Bristol De Mai. I think Bristol De Mai will finish 2nd. And then I think Native River will be in 3rd place. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if Politolog made the frame. I don't think Mike Bite will turn up, in my opinion, and run a great race. I'm just can't be convinced at all with his run at Haydock. But he could always bounce back to form. But it's going to be Thistlecrack is my first choice, Bristol De Mai is my 2nd, and Native River my 3rd. But I wouldn't put you off if you want to have a bet on Politolog, because I've tinkered with that, but I'm just not sure he'll stay. But I think that this race could be one that goes down in history, and also as well there's a gap in the market for some of these horses to come and assert themselves to be leading contenders, and also as well this will definitely shape the Cheltenham Gold Cup picture when it comes round to the Cheltenham Festival in March. So I hope you liked the video. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of these previews and more daily tips, things like that. Also as well, leave your comments in the comments box below who your top 3 for the King George. Also as well, let me know if you've had a bet, and also let me know as well if there's any other horses that maybe I didn't fancy that you fancy that will run well in this race. I'd like to know all your opinions on the race, like reading all your comments, and maybe we could have a little bit of a debate going on. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. Please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we found the winner in the King George, and we'll be seeing you soon.